Matt Miller is the founder and CEO of Embroker, the leading digital commercial insurance broker. He's recognized as a thought leader on insurance technology and innovation, and has been interviewed on the subject by Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC, and others. Before founding Embroker, Matt was a principal of the private equity firm, Hellman & Friedman, where he served on the boards of Hub International, Applied Systems, and others. Next question I have is for Matt Miller of Embroker. Can you tell us how microservices were incorporated into your product launch strategy, and how you thought about what to build in-house versus outsourcing? A little bit of a follow-up, actually, the build versus buy.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. And I'll give a little more context on the company and
Please,
the product launch.
please.
So it makes a little more sense, I suppose. But so Embroker, as Donald mentioned, we're a digital commercial agency. We build technology and have a team of experts that make it easier, faster, and less expensive to intelligently insure any business. So we work with about 2,000 companies that spend anywhere from a couple $1,000s to well over $1 million in premium, so serving both the small commercial as well as the mid-market. And that's been our model. We're about 3.5 years old, been growing pretty quickly, but a little over a year ago, I decided that we wanted to take the next step in our journey and actually build our own insurance product. And much like any good startup founder, and to the horror of my team, I started with the most complex and outrageous product that everyone warned me about and said, like, don't do it, which was a directors and officers policy. There was nothing like it that existed. It was hugely complex. Nobody even thought that it could be sold digitally. But I actually liked it because it was so painful. I had to buy it for my own company, and it was horrible. Like, everything about it was horrible. And I think when you start with something that's that horrible, like, actually getting to a 10x better experience is possible. And so that's what attracted me about it. So I started conversations with a number of parties, including our friends at Munich and some others, and really got down the path of starting from scratch to build this new product. I think there's obviously a number of work streams there, but given this is a panel on microservices, I'll focus on the technology. We'll skip over our meetings with Munich. But I think fundamentally, as we think about microservices, sure, yeah. I think as we think about microservices, there is a cost to them, especially when you think about your own internal architecture. And it's not that they are suited for every possible approach, but I think there are a lot of benefits. So when we thought about building it out, actually, as we often do with new product launches, we actually built a lot of the initial version of the product on our own core tech stack before decoupling it. And that allowed us to get to market quickly, to test and iterate and learn. So in the course of the launch, we actually built our own quote rate buying system in about a month that was fully functional, allowed us to get out to market and start learning. And then once we saw that the product was going to be successful, I wanted to deploy my engineering resources certainly on creating new products and not necessarily maintaining aspects of the system that there were good versions out that we could partner with. And so we went through the process and are actually still going through the process now of decoupling various aspects of the features and building them onto microservice APIs, in this case through Solartis. And I think in general, as we think about our approach to microservices and how they incorporate into our architecture, it's something that we think about the concept of stage-appropriate maturity. And so it's not the answer for all things, but as we've grown as an organization, we found that we can achieve higher scalability with our teams, greater use of different technologies, and as our engineering team is now it's about to hit 30 people, and we have 5 different teams sprinting independently. More and more of what we try to do is based on a microservice architecture, but we do balance some of the costs in terms of testing, in terms of complexity, in terms of the overall cost of maintaining the different versions, and try to make intelligent choices. But certainly we think it's going to be a big part of our future and does allow us to be really nimble and partner with best-in-class providers for various point solutions that aren't a core part of what differentiates us to our customers.
You're selling direct, right, to policyholders?
Yes.
So did microservices architecture have any implications as you were thinking about user experience, customer journeys, that sort of thing? Maybe easier, harder? It was the technology neutral in that regard?
I think it really depends on the feature. I mean, there's examples where, for example, payments, like we didn't find any payment provider that we liked. We actually built our own payments module as a microservice as part of our own core tech stack. We used Stripe's API, but we built the entire kind of payment workflow. Just because we couldn't find a good provider that we thought had the experience we wanted. But as it relates to things like policy issuance, like quoting, like binding, like managing that process, I wouldn't say it necessarily makes it go faster, but as you think about scalability and having not one product, but 5 and 10 and 15 and version control, you end up having different requirements that it just requires engineering resources to maintain. And we think about it as being a good opportunity to get our guys focused on the customer experience and not necessarily on maintaining version control for policy administration systems.
Okay.
And just one thing to add on that one is I think it also can help you with flexibility. I'll give you a quick example, is an insurance product where we have it deployed as a microservice, but the customer has it on both an internal underwriter portal, has it on a agency portal, has it on WhatsApp and through SMS with IBM Watson, you know, as behind the scenes. So there's the same underlying microservices is used on all of those. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you want to spin up a new user interface.
Okay, very good. Thank you.